Good day, mates. Grab your popcorn because we're about to dive into a historical tale that's as amusing as it is baffling. A tale that seems like it's been ripped straight from the scripts of a Looney Tunes episode, The Great Emu War. Yes, you heard it right. Australia, the land of fascinating wildlife and breathtaking landscapes, once found itself embroiled in a peculiar face-off. And no, it wasn't with man-eating crocs or venomous snakes, but with a flightless bird species known as the emus. It all began back in 1932, a year etched forever in the annals of history for its peculiarity. Australia, already famous for its enchanting wildlife and extreme landscapes, became an unlikely war zone. An arena for a conflict so bizarre, so unprecedented, that it could easily be mistaken for an absurd fable than a factual historical occurrence. Our valiant participants in this unusual war were no ordinary soldiers. They were heroes from the World War I, seasoned warriors with iron spirits and battle-hardened hearts. Yet the enemy they faced was no ordinary antagonist. They weren't up against the might of a foreign military power, but against the flightless and seemingly harmless emus. These emus, native to Australia, were not just any birds. They were large, swift, and notorious for their mischief, making them a formidable foe. The Australian government, in a move that baffled many, equipped their veterans with machine guns to wage a full-scale war against these feathered creatures. It was an idea as laughable as it was an idea so outlandish you'd think it's a joke. But it was real, and it was about to get even more interesting. These emus were no ordinary adversaries. Known for their speed, agility, and uncanny ability to adapt, they proved a tough challenge. The vast and merciless Australian outback was their battlefield, and it was here these cunning birds executed tactics that would leave the most experienced athletes dazzled. They zigzagged across the terrain, vanishing and re-emerging like ghostly apparitions, turning the conflict into a unique game of hide-and-seek. Just imagine the scene. Soldiers, trained for tough and ruthless warfare, struggling to keep pace with these elusive, comical yet cunning creatures. It was a spectacle as befuddling as it was entertaining. And if you thought a war against emus would be a walk in the park, you couldn't be more wrong. These birds were not just flightless, they were incredibly clever, making them a worthy opponent. The emus, they would soon find out, were the Houdinis of the bird world, masters of evasion and escape. Little did they know, emus are the Houdinis of the bird world. The emus, crafty little rascals, turned the outback into their battlefield, employing zigzag tactics that would make any NFL wide receiver jealous. It seemed as if they'd been honing their skills for this exact moment, their feathers rustling audibly in the dry wind as they skillfully dodged bullets and bemused soldiers. These flightless birds were a spectacle of agility and cunning that left the humans dumbfounded. The soldiers, brave and war-seasoned, were accustomed to a vastly different kind of warfare. They came prepared for rival trenches, not an army of emus treating the battlefield like a playful game of tag. Every day they would set out with steely determination, only to return with frustration etched on their sunburnt faces. The emus were elusive, unpredictable, and admittedly amusing to watch. As the days gave way to weeks, the soldiers' resolve started to wane. This was no ordinary battle scenario. It was an exercise teetering on the edge of surrealism. The Australian outback reverberated with the sound of emu laughter, metaphorically, of course. The birds, seemingly aware of their ascendant position, strutted about with an air of casual triumph. Then the unimaginable happened. The Australian government, in a move that still prompts laughter today, admitted defeat. The emus, these feathered warriors of the outback with their zigzag tactics and indomitable spirit, had outsmarted an army of men. The Great Emu War, as it would later be known, concluded. The soldiers returned home, their tales of feathered adversaries and elusive foes provoking laughter and bewilderment. The emus, however, resumed their usual lives, blissfully ignorant of their victory and the mirth they had induced. The Great Emu War continues to be a feathered fiasco, a tale that still brings a smile to your face. It's a story of soldiers combating birds that will leave you puzzled and bemused. The emus, for their part, went back to their lives, blissfully unaware of their victory and the hilarity they'd caused. The Great Emu War remains a feathered fiasco, a tale of soldiers versus birds that'll make you scratch your head and maybe laugh a little. It's a reminder that sometimes nature doesn't just fight back, it wins, leaving us humans to shake our heads and chuckle at the absurdity of it all.